shake it, go up and down. Smooth! Straws aren't just something that you can drink out of. I'm going to show you different ways to play with straws that can enhance language development, cognition, social skills, and more. So for about $3 or $4, you can buy several packs of straws and you are good to go. Toddlers love to put things into containers and to dump them out at this stage. So I brought lots of different containers to show you how you can turn a simple household container into something to play with. You can take a spice jar and you can open up the top, and the straws that you have you can cut into smaller pieces. So this is the size that it comes in the package, and you can just cut it down and you can have them stick it in. I love these spice containers that have black peppercorns in them or garlic powder. You can buy them at Sam's and Costco. They come in bulk. And the reason I like these is because the top has two different sides. One that's big, a big opening, and one that's small with 3 holes in it. And so these 3 holes are great to be putting the straws into like this. So your child is using the hand-eye coordination and the fine motor skills to rotate their wrist and put the straws in, and you can even do this with the bigger straws too. But they stick out, so they might try to drink out of it. You can bend the straw, talk about bend, and then of course you can try to shake them out. And if it doesn't come out of the small side, you can open up the big side and shake them out. It's fun to look at too, so it's a sensory component to it when you have it full of straws. It's almost like a sensory jar where they can look at it and they can hear it and they can see all the colors. Another container that's fun to use is this gum container because it has an opening that's big and an opening that's little. So you can put the straws into either side, but you can cut them down to size and put them in. Another kind of container I like to use is a syrup container. It has an opening at the top that's just big enough to put a straw into. So again, hand-eye coordination, getting the straw into this hole takes a lot of concentration. And then once it goes in, you can see it, you can shake it, you can hear it, you can try to look inside. Then they're stuck. It's hard to get them out. So then you can talk about twist, 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 open, and then you can dump them out. Here's another kind of spice container that has 6 holes in the top where you can fit the straws in perfectly. And they fit right inside of there, and then you can close it. Kids like to hear that snap and they like to try to open it on their own. You can also cut holes in the top of any kind of plastic container like this. This one was something for Valentine's Day that I cut a hole in the top, and so you can poke the straws in and see if the big ones fit. If they're too big, or if you can bend them, you can talk about bending. So this is a fun one, and then they can open it and then see all the straws inside. If you don't have any of those spice containers or gum containers, you can always use a cup that has an opening for a straw. This would also work if you're out and about and you have a to-go cup from a restaurant. You can put the straws in there as well. Just have a Ziploc baggie full of straws, and it could be an activity where they put them in. There's something mesmerizing about putting straws into containers that kids love across the board. It's just very intriguing for them, and I'm not sure if it's because they see it and then it goes away and then they can see it down here and they can't reach it. It just, for some reason, they're so drawn to this kind of activity at the toddler stage. You can create a sensory bottle by putting a lot of the smaller straws inside of a bottle. This bottle here is glass, but I would recommend using a plastic. You could use a water bottle, and you just stick the straws in, and then you could fill it with water, and then your child you close it really tightly and you can glue the top on with hot glue. And then your child can look at it as the water swirls around. You could add glitter to it, you could add some glue to make it thicker, or some gel like shower gel or something like that. And so that they can look at it, they can put it up to the light, and it's a great visual stimulation. A fine motor activity you could do with the bendy straw is you could cut a little piece of a jumbo straw and you could slide it on and try to slide it all the way down the straw. So this promotes wrist rotation, hand-eye coordination, patience, and a little bit of problem solving because they can't just push it to the side. They have to really intentionally go up and down. So you can talk about down, up. You could talk about wiggle and zigzag, and you could say, all done, yes, I did it. Of course, if you have string or ribbon, you can string them on and make a bracelet or a necklace and work on that lacing skill. These jumbo straws will fit on small little fingers, so you can put it on your child's finger and talk about, ooh, where are your fingers? Wiggle your fingers. You can do some simple directions with that. And they think it's funny to have something extra long on their fingers, and they'll try to wiggle them off or clap their hands and they'll fall off. If you cut up a bunch of straws into small pieces, you can work on scooping and dumping. So you could have one container with the straws in it and then another container that they scoop it into. So they're working on transferring and rotating their wrist. Target words like scoop, dump, dip it in there, dump it out, get a little bit, get a lot. You could use 2 straws as drumsticks. And you could sing a song, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Something else you might have lying around is a colander. And this is great with straws that are smaller. And sometimes it won't fit into the smallest holes, but on the sides here you can smash it a little bit and it'll fit in. So you can talk about smush, pinch, squeeze, and you can show your child how to smash it and then put it in, and so then you'll have a bunch of straws sticking out around the colander. And then it's fun, even if you want to set this up for them and put a bunch of straws in, it's fun for them to take them out and put them into a different container. It gives them a sense of completing a task once they've gotten all of the straws out and in the container. You can celebrate and they'll be really excited that they've finished something from start to finish. Another craft supply that we tend to have lying around are pipe cleaners. So I cut these down. These ones are the shiny ones. I cut them down pretty small, and we can put the pipe cleaners inside of the straw. And then you can see the straw is a little bit see-through, so you can see it inside of there, and kids like to pull them out and look at it and then try to put it in. This fine motor activity is great for precision work because if they're holding it way back at the top, they have to really find where to insert it into the straw. So then you can show them, to make it easier, you can put their fingers closer to the top where they're trying to put it in, and so that helps them to build up to that skill. The bendy straws are fun because they have little bumps and ridges. So what I do is I talk about bumpy, and then I take their little fingernail and I put it along the bumpy, and we say bumpy, bumpy. And then on the smooth part we say smooth, 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 bumpy, and smooth. And you can cut these in half and just have the bumpy part and then a smooth one so that they're smaller pieces. And you can give them one and say, is that bumpy or smooth? And they can feel it and say, bumpy. These are also fun to pull apart, and you can hear the sound it makes. Kids like to do that. And then you can talk about bent or straight. And you can talk about, let's see, you can make a corner. Oh, there's a corner. You could make a shape with this. If you wanted to take another straw and make a triangle, or take another straw and make a rectangle, there's all kinds of things you can do with this. You could make letters with it. So this could be an R. You could do the letter L. You could combine a bunch of different straws and spell out their name. Play-Doh is another great toy to use with straws. So you can take out the Play-Doh and poke the straws into it. So you could do it in the container, or you could take it out and you could pretend it's a little milkshake, but you could just poke them in and push them down. Do color sorting with a muffin tin. You could take a muffin tin and put the colors that you want your child to match in each container, and then you could give them some straws and guide them and say, ooh, the green goes with green, they match, and the blue goes with blue, they match. So you're teaching color matching and recognition, and then you're also teaching the words for the colors and the word match and doesn't match. So you can say, oh, blue doesn't match yellow, blue matches blue. When you do sorting, you could also sort by size, big and little. You could sort by color, or you could sort by texture, bumpy and smooth. You can also nest big straws and little straws together. So you can put the jumbo straws on top of the big straws, And when they bend, you can try to bend them and they make a fun sound. You could target cognition by making patterns. So you could do green, blue, green, and then you could encourage them to continue the pattern. You could take a straw and blow on a mirror to fog it up. When you do that, you could make shapes on the mirror, you could make letters, you could make numbers, you could make smiley faces, put little straws on a table or on the floor, and you could try to blow them across the floor or table so they'll roll and roll and roll like this. So they'll roll away and you could race the straws, and this works on breath support, which is essential for talking and speaking. When you're reading a book, you could use a straw to point to different things that you're looking at. You can say, oh, baby, and then you could give them the straw and say, tap the baby, baby. You could do the duck, 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 duck. All that repetition you could use with a straw to point to it. I made a whole video about how to read to your toddlers using this book. You can check out my video after you watch this one. You could also say, where's the choo-choo, where's the train? There it is. Where's the duck? There it is. Make a tree out of pipe cleaners by taking several pipe cleaners, twisting them at the bottom, and then letting the top ones hang out. And you could put straws onto the parts that stick out like leaves. You could cut the straws up and make smaller ones, and that works on focus, coordination, and patience. If you have different colored cups or containers, you could match them into those containers. So you could take the orange one, put it in the orange, yellow in the yellow. I look forward to hearing how you're creative with straws and what ideas that you have. So leave a comment if you've found another way to play with straws, and I would love to hear from you. Remember, playing is how kids learn. Playing is their job. It doesn't necessarily matter what you play with, it just matters how you play with them.